Hi, everybody. In the, I guess, mid 1960s, a few years ago, a man named Gene Roddenberry sought out, I believe, to transform the Hollywood TV world. Because he came up with this idea for this little show that you may have heard of called Star Trek. And what I like about this guy and what he did was his cast choices for the Enterprise, which is the main ship. See, because what he did is he picked an African American woman, Uhura. He chose a Russian for one of his navigators, Chekhov. He chose a Chinese person, Sulu, to be the pilot of the craft. Spock was a total alien from a different planet. You had Scotty, who was from Scotland. I'm probably missing a few. And then, of course, you had James T. Kirk, which is the captain of the Enterprise. Now, this was a very diverse group of people to be putting on television in an era where it was predominantly the white male, white female who would make these particular shows. So he was really putting his neck on the line because he really believed in equality, how we're all the same, right? He was seeking to transform not only the television business, not only Hollywood, but he was seeking to transform people and how we view others. This is at the height of Cold War stuff, and to have a Russian and a Chinese person and an African American woman on there who were maybe looked down upon, or maybe said they were villainized in one way or another, right? Because of the political climate of the time. It was huge, right? And it met with success and some failure. After 3 years, it was finally canceled altogether. But this 3-year show has led to how many other spin-offs of that same idea of the Star Trek universe. There's been numerous movies made upon this stuff, changing the face of Hollywood. There's been other television shows on these things as well. So this idea has carried on into a new generation, really, today, that can see how people can relate and work together. Because one guy had an idea how to transform the world around him. I share this with you a little bit today because on Sunday we talked about the Transfiguration of Jesus. And this is found on Luke 9:28-36. And this is the story where Jesus goes up with Peter, James, and John up to a mountaintop. And as they're gathering at this mountaintop, you can kind of envision clouds rolling in or something. And Jesus transfigures. He transforms into something dazzling white. The scripture says as bright as lightning. If you've ever seen lightning up close, it literally is blinding. It is blinding. So for Jesus to transform like that in front of these 3 men must have been a shock. What did they do with that? And then all of a sudden, he's got Elijah and Moses next to him, and they're talking. And they're chatting about things. And I could just imagine what was happening in the hearts of Peter, James, and John there, right? Were they transformed? I would think they would have been. How could you not be transformed when something like that occurs around you? You're giving a glimpse into something holy and majestic and glorious. They wanted to build tents to honor after the Feast of Tents with the Jewish peoples. And they were just at a loss of what to do. And they come down after that mountain, and it says they didn't go off and tell everybody about this. But I really wonder what happened inside of them. We didn't really hear about that. But if we were to see Jesus face to face, would it transform us? I think it would. Even if we're a non-believer, I think it would transform us in some way, shape, or form to have the Son of God standing right before us, right? But we have that opportunity to really invite Jesus into our lives. Jesus is there waiting for us, and it's when Jesus enters us is when we can transform. Can we not? I really think we can, because we become, I think, different people. We try to live better lives. We try to live lives worthy of what God would say, this is good, this is not so good. We transform in where we maybe start helping others instead of just helping ourselves. Being there for people when we're only maybe there for ourselves originally. So we have all sorts of opportunity to transform in our own lives when we invite Christ into that whole picture. And we're in a culture of transformation need. We look around at how people treat one another on social media platforms and in person, how we become a culture, I think, in a lot of places in the world of just seeking out me and seeking out I. We tell people what we think of them without any concern about how it's going to make them feel whatsoever. And I think there's a lot of transformation that can happen in all of our lives. I really, really do. Whether we believe in Jesus or not, I think this is a true statement. Because one day, people are going to start treating us the same way that we're treating other people. And maybe it's already happened. And how does that make us feel? Probably not very good, right? When we're down and out and we need help and somebody's judging us, how does that make us feel? Not good. So maybe we can start this whole transformation process of the whole world, but it's going to start within us, right? It's going to start within our souls and within our hearts. Jesus gave us a glimpse of a paradise, I think, of heaven, when he transfigured upon that mountain, right? When he turned into something that people weren't expecting. And if we were to just take a step, just one step in that direction of transforming our hearts to accept people, to transforming our hearts to love people all around us, if we were to transform our actions into helping others instead of just simply helping ourselves and not expecting anything in return either, what could we do to the world around us just by taking one small step toward that? Then if we take 2 or 3 or 4 steps, how much more of an impact can we have not only on our life, but on the lives of people around us, right? And then we can invite everybody else into the same journey where they start to transform how they treat one another as well. And before long, I can envision this world where people treat each other with respect, with dignity, because we allow ourselves to transform into who God and Christ wants us all to be. Kind, generous, and compassionate. And the only thing this is going to cost any of us is leaving that old way behind, which probably isn't a really great way to start out with, right? But just leave that behind. Pick up that new direction. So wherever you're at today, I pray that you are able to let God into your heart, to maybe get a vision of what it might have been like for Peter, James, and John upon that mountain to see Jesus transfigure, and allow ourselves to transform into the people that God really, really needs and wants us to be. Well, that's what I got right now. So if you don't understand transformation or transfiguration, go back, watch all the episodes of the original Star Trek 1960s, and I think you'll get a glimpse of what I'm talking about. You take care, live long and prosper, and God bless you all. Bye-bye for now.